Attack TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.
You are watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 30th of April. With India on high alert, PM Modi reviews security situation. Pakistan fears India planning imminent military strike. And Sri Lanka's economic recovery, no understatement, says central bank governor. And now for all the details. Amid the heightened tension between India and Pakistan, a spree of high-level meetings chaired by Indian Prime Minister Modi continued in New Delhi, reviewing the situation in the aftermath of Pahalgam terror attack. We have a report.
As tensions soar between India and Pakistan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday chaired a series of meetings, reviewing the situation in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack. The high-level huddles included meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Political Affairs and the second meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Security. Notably, the Wednesday meeting of the War Cabinet was the second such meeting within a week. Earlier on Tuesday, PM Modi also chaired a high-level huddle with chiefs of all three arms of the armed forces, along with CDS General Anil Chauhan, NSA Ajit Doval and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. Government sources said the Prime Minister affirmed that it is India's national resolve to deal a crushing blow to terrorism and expressed complete faith and confidence in the professional abilities of the Indian Armed Forces. PM Modi stated that the Indian Armed Forces have complete operational freedom to decide on the mode, targets, and timing of India's response.
So it was very clear that he was completely in the brief and in direct communication with his chiefs. And therefore, he did say the mode, that means the mode, the targeting and the response and the timing. Normally, it is said that the message of such things in general are not to be left to generals. But today is the 21st century. They must have faith in the armed forces chiefs. That is why he's made the statement.
Meanwhile, India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar received calls from various world leaders condemning the April 22 Pahalgam attack. Earlier on Tuesday, he received a call from the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, during which Jaishankar conveyed India's resolve of bringing to justice the perpetrators, planners and backers of the last week terror attack. Jaishankar also held telephonic conversation with foreign ministers of several non-permanent members of the United Nations Security Council, conveying India's policy of zero tolerance towards terrorism. Notably, Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif too held telephonic conversation with UN Secretary General, in an aim to mobilize international support.
Meanwhile, protesters in Nepal's Janakpur burnt effigy of Pakistan Army Chief Asim Munir on Tuesday as they demonstrated against the Pahalgam terror attack. The April 22 attack killed 26 tourists, including a Nepali national, Sudeep Neopane, who was vacationing along with his family in the Indian Union Territory. Chanting anti-Pakistan slogans, the protesters set fire to the effigy of Pak Army Chief Asim Munir in the roadways of Janakpur, marking their anger against Munir for harboring terrorism and targeting people on the basis of their religion. Earlier on Saturday, a similar protest was organized by various groups outside the Pakistan embassy in Kathmandu to demand the closure of Islamabad's diplomatic mission for aiding terrorism. Nepal, a Hindu-majority country which has largely friendly relations with Pakistan, has been witnessing high rage following the terror attack in Pahalgam, where tourists were killed by terrorists of Pakistan-based terror outfit after ascertaining their religious identity.
आपको पाकिस्तान की जो वहाँ के जो सैनिक की जो मुख्य व्यक्ति हैं, जो सैनिक के प्रमुख हैं, वो इससे पहले जो अभिव्यक्ति दिए थे हिंदू के विरुद्ध में, और कहीं न कहीं इस घटना से संचालित दिखाई दे रहा है। इस कारण से इसमें पाकिस्तान दोषी दिखाई दे रहा है, पाकिस्तान की सरकार दोषी दिखाई दे रहा है, और नेपाल भारत की जो संबंध है इसमें खटास लाने की बात कर रहा है।
And as cabinet huddle continues in New Delhi, Pakistan has claimed it has credible intelligence that India intends to launch military action soon. In a bizarre emergency press conference post-midnight on Wednesday, Pakistan's Information Minister Atullah Tarar continued the anti-India rhetoric and said Islamabad has credible intelligence that India may launch a military offensive operation in the next 2 days over its allegations of Pakistan's involvement in the Pahalgam attack. He added, Pakistan reiterates that any such military adventurism by India would be responded to assuredly and decisively. Tarar's bizarre yet expected anti-India rhetoric came hours after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi held security review meeting with top military leadership along with NSA Ajit Doval and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. According to government sources, PM Modi has given the armed forces free hand to decide on the mode, targets and timing of India's military response to the Pahalgam terror attack. Notably, unlike in 2016 and 2019, when India reacted militarily to terror attacks on its security personnel, New Delhi is yet to take any military action. It has, however, taken slew of diplomatic measures, including expulsion of all Pakistani nationals and keeping Indus Water Treaty at abeyance. Moving on, UN human rights experts have strongly criticized Pakistan's counter-terrorism operations in Balochistan, calling out enforced disappearances, repression of activists, and misuse of anti-terror laws. We have a report.
UN human rights experts have raised serious concerns about Pakistan's counter-terrorism measures in Balochistan, citing excessive and harmful impacts on human rights. While acknowledging threats posed by armed groups, the experts emphasize that counter-terrorism must comply with international human rights and humanitarian law. They condemned enforced disappearances, urging Pakistan to criminalize the practice and establish independent investigation mechanisms. The experts criticize Pakistan for conflating peaceful activism with terrorism, curbing freedoms of expression, assembly, and association, and repeatedly shutting down internet access in Balochistan. Reports of torture, extrajudicial killings and reprisals against Baloch Yakjeti committee members and their supporters were also flagged. Concerns were raised over the misuse of Pakistan's Anti-Terrorism Act to target activists, civil servants, students and human rights defenders. They warned proposed amendments to preventive detention laws and the creation of new internment centers could worsen human rights violations. The experts called for legal reforms, accountability for abuses, and efforts to address root causes of violence, including political exclusion, discrimination, and poor governance. They have formally communicated these concerns to the Pakistani government and offered technical assistance.
And the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees is seeking $71 million to assist Afghan refugees returning in desperate conditions to Afghanistan from Pakistan and Iran. The UNHCR is working with partners like UNDP and IOM to support the growing number of returnees in Afghanistan. Since 2023, more than 3.4 million Afghans have returned or been deported from Pakistan and Iran, including over 1.5 million in 2024 alone. Such mass returns have strained the capacity of many provinces in Afghanistan and exacerbated the risk of further internal displacement. While UNHCR recognizes the many challenges, including economic pressures, facing these countries that have hosted millions of Afghans for decades, a spokesman said that they have also consistently shared their concerns that regardless of their legal status, people forced to return to Afghanistan may encounter serious protection risks. Moving on, Bangladesh Chief Advisor's press aide Shafiqul Alam has said he has not discussed with the United Nations or any other organization the plan to open a humanitarian corridor to send aid in Myanmar's Rakhine. He stated that the interim government also believes that UN-supported humanitarian aid would help stabilize Rakhine and create conditions for the return of the refugees to Myanmar. Given the current conditions, he said, the only viable route for delivering aid to Rakhine is through Bangladesh. Bangladesh agrees in principle to provide logistic support to the transportation of aid through this route, he added. The Rohingya crisis in Bangladesh began in 2017 when over 7 lakh Rohingya Muslims fled persecution and violence in Myanmar's Rakhine state. They sought refuge in Bangladesh, primarily in the Cox's Bazar region, creating one of the world's largest refugee camps and straining local resources and infrastructure. And Sri Lanka's economic recovery may still be ongoing, but this turnaround is no understatement and it is drawing praise at the highest levels. Nandalal Veerasinghe, Governor of Sri Lanka's central bank, has said in the bank's 2024 annual report. Highlighting long overdue reforms and prudent monetary policies, Dr. Veera Singhe said the central bank's actions have helped restore macroeconomic stability and place the country on stronger footing. Reflecting on 2024, he pointed to Sri Lanka's ability to push through painful reforms and still move forward, crediting the central bank's unrelenting commitment to financial sector stability. Looking ahead, he stressed the importance of uninterrupted reforms, inclusive financial systems, and a sustainable development model. The central bank is also integrating ESG principles and enhancing digital infrastructure, especially for the underserved groups. He said, with its 75th anniversary approaching, the message is clear. Sri Lanka must stay the course, avoid complacency, and strengthen its economic governance to ensure lasting prosperity. Well, that's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.
Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.